We're continuing now with our special conference here in London, real estate in Israel, and now we're going to talk about Aliyah. That's the word, that's the topic. We're here now to talk about Aliyah. With us is Danny Newman, Goldfuss Insurance and Admin of Living Financially Smarter in Israel. Shalom. Could hold on to the mics. We're starting. And Daniel Eisenberg of Israel Transfer. Shalom.
Shalom.
And shalom to Shira Finkel of Habaita. Habaita, which means, of course, going home, guiding people home to Israel. Shalom to you too.
Shalom.
So I'd like to start with Habaita.
Yes.
You're feeling the surge. Let's not talk about the surge of anti-Semitism. Let's talk about something good. More and more people are talking about Aliyah, are interested in Aliyah, are thinking about Aliyah immigrating to Israel.
Yes, I feel it all the time. I think that people are, it's always one of the things that they desire. And what we do is we try to help them get it in the most comfortable. And
So like,
way.
what's the things that make them more, concerned? What are the fears? What are they deterred?
I think the market is very confusing. I think that the idea that they don't even know from where to start, and that everything seems so far and complicated.
Now, with Daniel Eisenberg, Israel Transfer, what are you feeling as you're here at this event and many events, and also, of course, speaking with potential clients?
So there definitely is a lot of interest. People who maybe 5 years ago, Aliyah was something that they never would consider. Now, maybe not full Aliyah, but maybe to have a vacation property, a place that they can go to, a place that sometimes when the ground feels a little bit unsettled, that they want to have a deeper connection to Israel and a physical connection through the property.
Well, that's something very interesting that we're seeing more and more. Also, in terms of the content that we're promoting on Arutz Sheva, we're seeing that idea of people want to buy their home, I would say just in case, or as you're saying, it's much more than just in case. It's also something with essence, with meaning.
A person can choose, if they're looking to run away, they don't have to run to Israel. They can go to Gibraltar. They can go anywhere. But
Okay.
there's a Jewish neshama that's pulling them towards the land of Israel, and that's the natural place for them to go, and we're happy to help facilitate that.
Wow. So, Danny Newman, when you want to help people live financially smarter in Israel.
Go for the insurance side.
So we'll start with the insurance?
Yeah,
Okay.
the insurance is the main thing.
Right.
The financially smarter is basically just a side thing where, with a few other professionals in Israel, we have a Facebook group which has grown to 43,000 people, where people ask questions, and it's an instantaneous resource for getting information. But the main thing that I do is insurance. So I work for Goldfuss Insurance. And there aren't that many of us who are native English speakers, who work in the industry with all the regulatory exams.
So what kind of unique challenges are there for an Ole, for an immigrant, and also for those purchasing, not yet coming home, not yet making Aliyah? Tell us a bit about the challenges and the solutions.
So the challenge is the unknown. Israel is no longer a developing country like it was maybe 40 years ago or 30 years ago when I made Aliyah. You're looking at the internet age where people can now keep jobs overseas and just live there. So the challenges they have is understanding how I can continue my life as it was in Israel. What I need to do as far as insurance is. I'll take just one very quick example. Take the world of car insurance. So many immigrants will come to Israel and they will approach an online insurance company and they will put in their details. They clearly have no insurance record in Israel, and they'll be treated like a new driver and pay ridiculously high premiums.
Wow.
But agents like us who know how to deal with Olim, we help them. We can transfer their no claims bonus from the UK, and they're treated like someone with VETEC,
That's
with
interesting.
seniority.
There's so many fields where that's what the Ole needs, the continuation. We heard that in the field of medicine and health, with what we're seeing with the ministry and Nefesh B'Nefesh, having doctors being accepted, and people really want to continue their life in Israel. Start a new page, but continue. And you're saying it's an option, it's a possibility.
It's not just an option.
You have to do it.
I look at myself. I'm not someone who ran away from England. I've been more than half my life now in Israel, and I think I'm more successful in Israel than I potentially would have been in the UK. I think there's a saying, "Kolat chalot kashot." All starts can be difficult or challenging, but if you persevere and you've got the right framework, Israel is, the economy is booming, and Israel can be a wonderful, wonderful place, and people are seeing it's potentially it's the future.
Well, so we'll talk about really how to do it right in Israel soon. Shira, when I grew up, it was always known that the Israeli bureaucracy, the crazy Israeli bureaucracy, you can't do anything. It's not true anymore. The Israeli bureaucracy is good stuff, relatively speaking. Bureaucracy is always bureaucracy, right?
Yes. It depends where you.
No, depends. We're great. First of all, we're perfect in Israel. Now you can add.
Yes, I agree with you that if you know what you're doing, then things are much less complicated. And you're, I guess, enough time in Israel to feel like the bureaucracy is.
Okay, so now give me the other side. And exactly this is where you come in. And that's important.
Yes, exactly. We understand all the complexities, and also I'm Israeli. So I feel like in one way, I know the challenges of my clients because I've been already with many clients through that process. And also I know as Israelis what could be done in the right way and which direction to do it and take them, so it's not going to be the other way around and then go straight.
The language, of course, is sometimes a barrier.
Yes, so the language is a big gap. What they know about the market is a big gap. What they know they could get or not.
So tell us a bit about how it looks, the process, when you start the process and when you continue and you even complete the process.
So I think the most of our clients come after they started looking. They get so confused. They don't know who's against who and who's with them. And we are starting it from a all different place. We are getting to know our clients. We are understanding what they're looking for. We're building their, I would call it their basic budget, timeline. If they have consideration of tax that they need to know, or the timeline, like a lot of people, when they make Aliyah, they could get a benefit of a tax benefit.
But no one comes to the airport, says, here, take the benefit.
No,
You have to
nobody
work for
does
it.
that. And also, when you buy a property, it could be a matter of time till when you can get it and when you're losing it. So if you're preparing yourself in the right way, this is what we do. Before we even start searching for a property, we're building the right path to buy a property.
So that's the process. Really, Daniel, let's talk about the process as you see it. When we're talking about Israel transfer, what are you doing?
So there's lots of great things about Israel. The banking system is not one of them. The banking system for many expats, it's very confusing because I come from the United States, we're used to a level of service that hasn't made it to Israel. The banking services in Israel is it's much more direct. The banks basically, they see that you're working for them, and as opposed to the service that we're used to from UK and the US, and they tend to charge more. So it can be very confusing for someone who's culturally not used to the system. What we try to do is to try to bridge that gap, both on being obviously cost effective, much cheaper, so your pounds go much further working with us, but not only that, having that human element where you're able to talk to somebody in your own language, someone who's familiar with your own culture, so that you're able to get the money over, dealing with all the bureaucracy that has to do with, that's unique to Israel, from the anti-money laundering perspective, something that somebody who's living in Israel for so long isn't exposed to that part of the difficulties that somebody who's coming on Aliyah, somebody who's looking to buy property in Israel, they encounter. So being able to just help avoid a lot of those hassles, it just makes the whole transaction that much easier and less stressful. So that's something that we try to bring.
And when doing that, it's we want people to continue their life and not feel that a new beginning is like a reset, because you need them to be able to continue.
It's also that something that's right now happening, and it's one of the brachot of Israel, is that our economy is so strong. Our shekel is such a strong world currency, which is affecting in the UK and the US that our money is not going as far as it's gone in the past. So it's very important to just have conversations with people that are familiar with what's been happening and how you can best protect your interests, so that your purchasing power is maintained.
Okay, Danny, I wanted to continue about regarding how to do it, how to live financially smarter in Israel. You said that you feel that you succeeded. Tell us your secret.
The first
secret. So we turned off the mic.
The first secret is no longer a secret. It's something I've said many, many times. I've said it when I've spoken in Nefesh in America, and being the only one on the panel here who doesn't have an accent, I can say it to people who will understand me. It's firstly to ask questions, because if you don't ask the questions, you won't know, and you'll potentially be missing out on some golden opportunities or some simple things which can become really complex just by the fact that you never asked a question. So I think the first thing I always say is ask. And it's in anything, whether it's, as I always joke about them being the money launderers, or but transferring money. But if you don't know, if you've gone through one type of conduit, you could be paying horrendous amounts of fees and not knowing that there are other legitimate, regulated avenues to do. Similarly, through Habaita and other organizations who can help you out in the world of insurance or investments. So there are many people, I'll say specifically to the UK audience, if we let's say look at it, the world of inheritance tax. So it's something that Americans have very differently. In Israel, there is no inheritance tax. Long way that continue. But in the UK, the thresholds haven't kept up with the rate of inflation, so more and more people, just with the value of their properties alone, are already above the threshold. Obviously, between spouse, there is no inheritance tax, but to kids. So there are solutions. Maybe it's taking a life insurance policy that will pay out in Israel, so that will offset for the first 7 years or so, things like that. But it's asking the questions
By the
about
way,
complex
at what
things.
stage is it important to ask the questions?
Before Aliyah.
Before Aliyah. That's
Absolutely,
very important.
before Aliyah, because and during. It's always also afterwards. But you have
It's important
many
to begin the process early.
There are so many native English speakers who have gone through exactly what everyone in this room is potentially thinking and hoping to do, and we've done it. And we may not have all the answers, but we will know someone else who might have a more complete answer to help you.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a bit about the spirit. I've been covering Aliyah for many years, and I feel that I'm kind of addicted, because the spirit there, the ruach that you see at these, when planes come, when the olim come, when we talk to olim, potential olim also all around the world, it's amazing. Shira, give us a bit about what you're feeling as you're meeting these families, these people.
I think that the main feeling that I have is I adore each person who thinks of making Aliyah. Israeli, 7 years, I think 7 generation Israeli. I'm married to a family of that made Aliyah, my parents-in-law, and they did it 35 years ago. And what they done and what family they raised in Israel is unbelievable. And I think each one who's thinking about it and doing the step towards it, I adore. And I think that this is part of the reason why I built my company Habaita, because I realized that I want to be part of the people, the Jewish people who are deciding to take these steps to try to make it easier for them to move, to make the next step.
Oh, Daniel?
So for me, I'm working with thousands of people that are making Aliyah and buying their home in Israel. And for many of them, this is the largest purchase that they're ever doing in their life, the largest financial transaction. And it's baked with so much emotion. And there's this awesome responsibility that I have of guiding them through the process. And this is something that has been generations in the making. And it's closing the circle of 2,000 years of galut and helping them, and feeling that I have a small part in that is something that gives me a smile every day.
Oh, very inspiring. Danny?
So I agree with everything they've said. Even though, as I said, more than half my life I've now been in Israel, I remember the excitement when I made Aliyah back in the late 90s. And I still have that love for Israel. It's not something that gets old for me. And when I saw about an hour ago a couple of young girls in their early 20s, and I saw myself almost 30 years ago in them, and they were just asking basic information. They at that stage of life where they are, single girls looking into things, they don't need much in the world of insurance. However, one of them works in insurance in England, and the other's working in investments. And I engaged with them to tell them what they could potentially do in advance to work in the field, shared in their excitement, remembering mine all those years ago, and giving the other person a contact of someone in their industry who might be able to help them out. And I just feel that when I see these new Olim, I don't forget what it was like for me. And it's a very exciting stage for people, challenging, but exciting. And I believe it is one for those who do make that leap of faith. It can be a very rewarding choice on many, many levels.
Right, but it puts a big responsibility
Exactly.
with us as financial people and guarding their interests in the real estate, because people have dreams, and very often their emotions might get ahead of them. And to be able to have someone who, they might, people, they have this dream of having beachfront property with a walk to the Kotel. And they need someone to help make what are your priorities, to help maybe that budgeting not to go too far out of their budget, to be able to sometimes to rein them in, just to be able to, so that they can live their dream.
There's a lot of trust. There needs to be a lot of trust. You three are working in a field where there has to be true trust between you and the clients, and that trust exists.
And I think
It's
that's
there.
why we've been in it for so many years as
Exactly.
well. Because if we weren't, people wouldn't trust us. There's no way
There
after
are,
two
but there
decades.
because there are people out there.
No industry is immune. No
Exactly.
industry is immune, and it's the way of the world. But there are people like us and other people and other professionals here as well who've been in it for many, many years. And if they weren't, success stories or trustworthy people, they wouldn't be in this industry for so long.
Okay, Shira, Daniel, Danny, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.